Okay. As you know, I am Chika Amadi. I'm a pastor. I'm a resident pastor of Good News Bible Church, London. Former elected councillor of in Harrow. Um, I do many things, but I am the CEO of Family Mediation Center. I usually support families, advocate for them when there are issues of child protection or safeguarding with local authorities up and down the UK. I have worked with Wrexham Council to return 4 children that were taken away. I worked with Middlesbrough to stop some children being taken into care. Sheffield, Manchester, Sunderland, Hartlepool, and also Harrow, and Westminster as well. Yeah, and I think I'm forgetting, there must be a borough I'm forgetting that I have practically worked with. And it's my pleasure to have each and every one of you here today. Apart from that, as I have explained to some of us before, while I was representing families with the local authorities, I discovered a lot of failings on the side of the local authorities. I also discovered some failings on the part of our people, because at times, most of us came from, all of us, as we know, we came from different areas and we migrated into the UK. And so we came with our cultures, we came with parental skills we learned from our parents, that we observed when we were growing up, that we observed from our neighbors. And so we brought them into our own parenting. And so some of our practices clash with the expectations, clash with the law surrounding children and the welfare of children. And so a lot of families today, their children have been taken away. Some have been investigated. Some have been benefited from the council as well. Because there are two aspects to what the local authority does. The local authority has the rights, and they have a right to intervene in a family. They also have a duty to safeguard and ensure that children in the UK are all safe. So like Councillor Ernest, who is here today, is we call them corporate parents. Every local authority is a corporate parent, while parents are biological or we're guardians or something, but the government, the local authority, is called a corporate parent. So they co-parent with biological parents. So they have a duty to ensure the best interest of every child is taken into consideration and is being upheld. They also have a duty to intervene, and if the worst scenario, take a child or children from a home where they think the children are in danger or at a risk of harm, perceived harm or actual harm, or when they feel if there is a referral that a child is already harmed. So they have these two ambits to intervene in families. So where there's a child in need, government also comes in to help. The local authority can also help a family where it is discovered that a child is in need, maybe in need of accommodation, in need of clothing, food, otherwise. So the local authority can intervene. On the other way around, if they perceive that the parenting skills or the parenting that a child is receiving is not adequate, they can intervene, and that is where we have the issues. So after representing parents, I discovered that there were minor things that led to, at times, the other intervention, which either some of them ends only in investigation, and the majority of the times when the investigation is going on, what we have found out is that it looks as if it's prejudicial, as if it is kind of It affects parents negatively, and parents complain that the investigations most times were not according to prescribed rule. So at times that the children, the threshold were not met. At times their words are misinterpreted, misrepresented, and used against them. And we notice also as well that at times parents made mistakes. They made some errors. And so when children have been taken away from the parents, it's not easy to fight to return them back because it takes a big process. It takes legal process as well. So ordinary social advocate does not solve it. So there must be legal side of it. So but we discovered that the best thing we need to do is to arm parents, to inform them, to give them a little bit of help to do the right thing, to ensure that their level of care complies with the law and with the expectations. We also know that in schools, at times we have social services that are social workers employed in schools. We also have psychologists in schools, and also teachers are trained to kind of detect when a child is traumatized, when a child is malnourished, when a child is emotionally troubled or going through situations. So at such points, or at times also children can make disclosures. They say things that happened at home, and the schools have a duty to report it to the local authority. And so the local authority can also intervene. So, but as I said earlier, we discovered that the best bet is to give our parents a bit of this training. And what we have now found out and what we have experienced is that after going through the training, the local authority, we give our certificates. Now, these local authorities, most of them consider our certificate. When they look at what they have done, they ask us for reports. So when we give them reports, they consider it's like they will now use it to access the parents if they have learned where they were wrong, and if they have learned something new that will help them, if they are now prepared to have their children back. So many of them have received their children back, I think on Thursday, either Wednesday or Thursday. The other family received their 4 children back. They received 1 earlier, now 3 have come back home. It has been a long battle. But one of the things they considered is what they learned. But one of the problems they say most of us don't have is emotional connectivity. Now, some of us coming from where we are coming from, we don't have that emotional connectivity. We give our children everything they need. We give them clothing, we give them everything. We can say, but we are not so much connected that we don't, at times we can't look at them and perceive what they're going through because they have a lot of challenges they are facing, which we may not know. And we're going to go deeper into all that. So I'm very passionate about families, about children. So you can find out the work we do at www.universityofharmony.com, universityofharmony.com. So as I said, I have been a school governor and as a charity worker. It breaks my heart whenever I hear that children are taken into care. And I have had situations where a pregnant woman herself just had a baby and they took her and the baby into care. Both the mother and the baby into care. And that was last year actually, I had to intervene to find out what has she done wrong, it's not that she did anything wrong. That one was actually based on assumption because 3 were already taken away. So later she was released. I have also seen another mother who was taken into, who was sectioned and the child taken away. And also now they're preparing to take away, she's pregnant. They may take that one away. So there are so many little things. It's not that most of these parents didn't commit any abominable offense. Most of these parents did not hit the child, but it's just little mistakes, little errors, little practices that we assume we are okay. So many of you agree with me that we came to settle in the UK, bringing along our cultural practices. And most of them clash with the law that we see here. Most of them clash with the expectations. And it brings us to the notice of social, or to the local authority. So to fully integrate, I believe that we need to acquaint ourselves with the way of the living of the United Kingdom. When I came here, I had a special circumstance. I had that privilege. Mine was the other side of social workers, child in need. They supported me, and I learned a lot from them. I learned parenting from them. But unfortunately, some people are not, the intervention is not from the helping side, but it is from the other side of it, where family at times are all split. And I really identify with any parents who have gone through that journey or who is going through it, because it's not a good place to be. It is actually a horrible place to be. A lot of us also erroneously are made to believe that parenting has no manual until we came here. Some of us, we have that just to have a child and you do what you can. And so some of us are not fulfilling our duty as parents. Back home, most of us don't ever believe the child is neglected unless maybe it's a maid and the child is sleeping on the floor, the child is doing that. But now a child can be with the parents and still the law will say that that child is neglected. Like if you are working odd hours and an underage child is left alone for many hours, or an underage child is left to go to school by himself or herself. For us, we feel, oh, that's good. But under the eyes of the law, that can be seen as what? Neglect. So that's why it's important we are aware of these things, that there are laws surrounding these areas so that we work within the law and don't clash with the law. You know, at times neglect is not what we term neglect back home. Chastisement, discipline, what we call chastisement, discipline, what we call discipline back home, may not be what they call discipline here. When we are growing up, most of us were smacked, most of us were flogged. Some of us, even in Africa, they put pepper in the eyes, they do everything. And even the community will clap and say, yeah, that's a good parent, he's a disciplinarian. But the country where we are in, they recognize the rights of a child. And the government is so much interested in the best interest of a child. So that means the chastisement you are giving your child, the law will say, is it in the best interest of the child or is it damaging the child? So if you go back to Africa, things that are practiced that people unconsciously or people don't know that is damaging to the children, and they assume that they are correcting them. So here the law opens our eyes to say, no, those things are seen as abuse at times. We look at domestic violence. I must emphasize that the law is not saying that you should not discipline your children, but we will learn better side of discipline. Discipline that is not harmful. Discipline that is meant for the best interest of the child. And a lot of families go through domestic violence without considering the impact on the children. And so some of these children have emotional and mental health issues going on, and we don't even know. Because the children at times can have false happiness. You know, so when we go through all this, some of us, especially our Black community, thank God for some of us who are aware, but a lot of people are not aware of mental health issues in children. We don't believe it. We know that adults can have mental health issues, but the worst understanding is that most of us misunderstand mental health issues, and when somebody have a psychiatric problem. So we model it together. And when you talk about mental health, it's like a taboo. It's like look, you are looked at as if there's something wrong with you. So some parents are going through that, and some children are going through that, but most times we don't even detect it. And who suffers most? The children. The issues of uh, beliefs and cultural issues like circumcision. Back home, we call it circumcision. I'll give you an example. At times they come to you, like when the health worker comes to you, when you have a new child or somebody has a new child, and they are discussing, asking you about FGM. And some people are new in the country. They don't understand that word, FGM. Then they make some disclosures. They say certain things innocently that incriminate them. I know a family, their children were taken away because a discussion was held, not that the children were circumcised. Like social health worker coming in, asking you, oh, this is a girl. So are you going to circumcise? Are you going to conduct FGM? And the person said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And maybe the husband sitting there starts saying, oh, are you talking about circumcision? Oh my God, in my place, it's very serious. You must do it to your daughter. You must do it in back home. And he didn't explain that he didn't do it. But he was just talking about it. He was very excited, relaxed. And the next 2 days, they got a letter to a meeting. And from that meeting, the children were taken away before investigation was done. Meanwhile, both the woman and the children were never circumcised. Just ordinary discussion they were having. So we just want to bring these things to light. Some of us don't understand emotional connection with our children. And this one applies even more to those whose children have been taken away. Because what I hear every time is that the parents spend all their time denying that we did something, we didn't do anything to our children, we didn't do anything wrong. So meanwhile, where the children are, those people are observing them. And they're observing trauma, they're observing some feelings on the children, and they are communicating with the doctors, with the psychiatric, with their psychologists. And as a parent, when they have meeting, the parents have not even detected it. So they complain that parents are not connected emotionally. They don't even know when the child is emotionally troubled. So, but to thank God, those who have gone through this have been able to exhibit that when they had what they call contact with the children. Because when you have contact with the children are taken away, and you are in that level where you have contact with your children. They watch every step, every word you speak, how you hold the hand, how you hold the food, everything. From there, they can now detect whether you are connected or whether you are disconnected. So this is an area we explore. Then we also we help parents explore and understand the issue of improving that emotional connection, which involves listening deeply, listening to the heart of your child. So we also raise greater awareness of expectations of our new home. So it's a full curriculum. We have about 4 modules. The first one is mental health and my family. The second one deals with my family and I. The third one, under my family and I, we are looking at issues of family values. This is an area everybody loves. An area, family values. We look at creating conducive atmosphere for our children in our home, creating conducive atmosphere for our children. Then the last one is for those who preparing people for raising teenage children. So we call it navigating through the teenage issues. So we're going to be dealing with these 4 modules. We ask questions, we answer questions. Those who have who need further support after the lectures, after the module, after the discussions, they can now talk with me privately. So we are going to be going through all that today. And also, we will not finish today, so we'll come back again to finish it tomorrow, 4 p.m. Having said that, we have over 16 people who have registered, but I know that some will join later because most of us still think, oh, it's African meeting. Well, maybe by now they have not started. Or some people are closing from work. Yes. Or some people may be driving back home. So they will join us. But I'm not going to waste the time of our two-time mayor of Brent. You know, Blacks, thank God for what we have achieved. Our own brother has been a two-time mayor of London Borough of Brent. And I'm not talking of anyhow Brent, anyhow borough, not anyhow council. Brent, the home of Wembley Stadium. So can I make welcome our own brother, Councillor Ernest, to address us?
Thank you very much, Chika, for inviting me and for organizing the event. And not just it's a module, it's a course. So we are using one stone to kill two birds. So thank you for that. You see, it looks very critical at this time. You're bringing this particular scale course, to the limelight. Many of us, we have been indoors for over a year, 15 months now. And you see, the space that we have as a family seems to be enough for us when everyone in the morning, you wake up in the morning, dress up, go to work, come back in the evening, do your thing, a normal family, that's how it goes. Then children drop them off at school, at the same time in the evening, pick them up. So that is our normal setting in this country. But if you look back in the last 15 months, so many families living in the normal family size house, 3-bedroom, a bedroom flat, a bedroom, 2 bedrooms, especially if you live in London, where we don't have the luxury of mansions. And this is where these issues of families start coming up. From what Chika has said all through, it's also boiled down with the African families, the Afro-Caribbean families. We have a bit larger family than normal. This is where the pressure comes in. This is where the social services comes in. This is where schools start looking at, picking up from one thing or the other. But one important thing to take home that we've got aware, we've got someone who have diligently gone through the scenarios in the country, the families, and also being a reverend. She also got that perspective from the religious background. So Chika, I must thank you for putting this African Caribbean parenting scale course out there to support people from BMA background and every other person. But I will also mention, you mentioned about safeguarding, which all of us as parents know that is a hot topic. This country, as far as I'm concerned, they don't play with it. The rules, golden rules are there, you have to stick with it. So safeguarding is a hot topic and no local authority, no school plays with it. So there's a lot of emphasis on that. So that will be very important that we put that on our fingertips. That is a golden rule, we must stick to it. Chika also made mention of corporate parenting. I remember in one of my, actually 2 or 3 trainings, every say yearly training as counselors, how, the trainer actually asked us, oh, how many children you have as a family. You say, actually, you say 2, 3, 4. If you have 10, you say 10. But as a corporate parent, how many children do you have in Brent? People are still confused, telling us, no, I have 2 children, I have 4 children. So, but the answer to that is, as a counselor, all the children in Brent, including the looked after ones, they are our children. So on the street, you see a young girl, a young boy, 5 years, 10 years, on his or her own. It is that person, that girl, that boy is your child. You need to question. So I'm so amazed with the opportunity we've got from our sister here. So I think it's now for us to spread the news in our church, in our local authority, in our workplace. I've seen firsthand information, people who had these issues and their children have gone into care. It's always been a very ugly experience. So I will say that we have to be very proactive to prevent this from happening. That issue you have as a family, in your community, we all belong to one community, our village community, our town community, our country community. Let's discuss this. So let's prevent it. I think that our children, we train ourselves, will always be stronger and better than the children, a child that is being trained from authority. So I will end it by thanking Chika for the opportunity to be here and to meet with our brothers, sisters, friends who are all here, and see some other thing that they are going to tell us today. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Chika. You're mute, Chika.
Yeah, oh, thank you so much. Can we please clap for our counselor? Double counselor. It's not easy to be a counselor in this country. Yeah, for 4 years I was there, and I know, especially as a mayor, mayor is like the first man of any borough. So for 2 terms, he was the first man. The way we see let's say for the country, the prime minister or the queen being the head of. So in Brent Council for 2 consecutive times, Councillor Ernest was the mayor. Thank you so much for your time here. We appreciate you. And thank you for the word. As you know, one thing you mentioned about the corporate parenting, you know, at times we think people are not observing how we are parenting. At times on the roads, the way you are pulling the child, the way you may be screaming, you think it's only you and the child. Somebody can make a report while you are just on the road, because there are many people who are corporate parents who may be driving past you, who may be walking past you, who may be somewhere. Even the GPs play their own role. I have seen parents, there is the GP matter, because maybe when they visited the GP, the way the woman, maybe not maybe the doctor is discussing with the mother or the father, and the child is there running around. The way you pull the child or scream, the GP can make referral or any mark GPC. So everywhere there are people who are corporate parents, and we must be aware of that. So once more, thank you, Councillor Ernest. And I want to welcome everybody, but I'm going to give us time to introduce ourselves. I'm sure other people will join. So let me start with Brother Sunday, beneath Councillor. Please introduce yourself, Brother Sunday.
Oh, all right. I am Sunday Ashwa from Sheffield.
Oh,
married with you.
So is your wife here today with you?
No, right now she's at work. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, thank you so much from Sheffield. Fantastic. Let's talk to our sister Francesca. Introduce yourself, please. You are on mute.
Sorry, thank God to be in your midst today. My name is Francesca Obi-Eze from Edgeware.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you
Can I welcome Sister Gabriela? Gabriela, unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Gabriela. I'm from Queen's Park Station, Westminster Borough.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Can I welcome Folu? Introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Folu. I'm based in the borough of Greenwich.
Fantastic. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Galaxy, Gloria, are you on there? Hello, Galaxy A21S. I know she was having problem with her volume and also hearing. So she said she's trying to sort it out. Okay. So as I said earlier, I am Chika Amadi. I'm also a legal advisor. I concentrate on practice in immigration law. So once more, I welcome you to Customized African Caribbean Parenting Skills course. We call it African Caribbean because what we have a lot of parenting classes everywhere. But the difference between those ones and ours is that we are not just trying to tell you to parent your children Western way, but we are also trying to say, look, we have a rich culture wherever we are coming from. Don't lose your own culture, but as well, don't allow your own cultural practices to clash with the law of this land. So what it means is integrating what you know, what you have observed, the culture you are bringing in, your religious life, bringing them together to ensure, integrating them together. So to be the best parents you can. So that means you are still bringing up a child that does not lose his or her cultural background, does not lose eating the natural food, the clothing, the language, the moral upbringing. Yet you are also bringing up a global child who can fit in anywhere. We want to bring up children who are achieving, who are not one side, but children who are balanced. So this is balanced parenting that we are trying to help us to accomplish. So now, why are we having this African Caribbean parenting course? We have so many reasons, but the funny thing is we have had English people who went through this. I know an English family whose children were taken away. Few days after they attended this, because we don't just dwell on our culture. Remember, what we are trying is to address our culture, to marry it with the Western parenting style. So they picked up from few things that we taught. They went back, there was an assessment based on what we taught them. At times we also write reports, and the children were returned within 1 week. The children were returned back to them. We have had Asian people join us. And Gabriela here is British, but her background is Ecuador, isn't it? Gabriela, yeah, Ecuador. So we have people from different backgrounds. We have people who have joined from East Africa. We have people who have joined from the USA. We have had people before who have joined from Canada as well. We have had about 4 different sessions. And this is the other ones, we had about 40 people at times, 26 couples in one go. But you know what? Every group is important, and it's not the number, it is what we are learning. So why is this compulsory? Why are other reasons? The reason for me is that it is important as a parent to raise yourself before you raise children. It is important we raise ourselves. What do we mean? Where we get to that level where we can we have that balance. We have to get a level where we create a balance. We also have a balanced life, emotionally, mentally, financially. We are able to handle the challenges that come to us, external challenges, work challenges that come to us, so that it doesn't spill over and affect the children. Because there are some people, at times it's relationship. They're having problem with their spouse. They're having people with their work colleagues. And when they come back home, unconsciously, they don't know that it affects them in such a way that the children observe it. And most times we will not tell them. And they are there thinking, oh, what is going on? Or mommy is not in the best state of mind. I don't know what is going on now. That can cause trauma for a child if it happens over a time. That child can go to school traumatized, and the child is smiling. You may not know. Now, on the way to school, or the way they operate in school, they may not be their very best, and the teachers may pick it up. So we encourage everybody, when you go through this course, take out time and raise yourself. Address issues about yourself, whatever you know that will impact you and also impact on the children. Learn how you can handle it. Your relationship, because it's dangerous. You know, we Africans and Caribbeans, we know how to scream on the phone. Maybe we are shouting with somebody we are angry with. At times there's domestic violence, and the children are not aware. All they know is that mom is in danger. Mom is in danger. Dad is in danger. That can scare them, and that can affect them. It can create mental health problems. So we are encouraging parents, please, after going through this course, try and get your acts together. Because everything you do as a parent affects your children. Let there be a balance. Let there be that work balance. Even your faith. You practice your faith in such a way that it does not break your children. I have had parents, it is because of faith matters that the children were taken away. The government is not saying don't be somebody of faith. They are not saying that. But how we go about it, how we go about our faith can impact on our children. It can cause crisis in their mind because they do not know where to be. Should they go to school? Should they not believe in God? Should they believe? So some of us, some things we do. I'll give you an example. A parent, a child has a problem. Maybe a child is actually traumatized by the parent's actions, but because the parent does not know, now the parent turns back, label the child. Oh, it seems the child is possessed. Now, at times they go to some churches where they conduct certain practices. And maybe the child can go to school and mention it. Maybe with their friends, that this is what happened. And that can raise an alarm. So we must raise ourselves. We must resolve our emotional and relationship issues that can affect our children negatively. Because when they notice, it could be, I remember sometime over how many years, 10 years ago or 8 years ago, a mother the children, her children complained of any little sickness. She would take them she would call the GP and go there. One day the GP called the social services. Because why? It says there are little things you can help your children at home. You don't need to bring them to GP, but it shows that you are not even matured enough to look after these children. But we have to intervene and organize a program like this. It's minute, but those children were almost taken away from her because the government could not understand how ordinary sickness, ordinary headache, you're booking to see the GP, ordinary this you're calling. So that was so we must raise ourselves. We must create a welcoming and loving, conducive atmosphere for our children so that they, have you noticed that our children in school, they have the atmosphere they operate in school do you think that your child we have such atmosphere? In school, they have everything planned out. They are respected. The teachers talk to them respectfully. The teachers listen to their voice. Teachers respect the voices of the children. In the morning, when the children get to school, they tell them, this is what we are doing today. This is what we are going to do. This is what you do. This is what I do. So there is a dialogue always going on with the teachers and the children. Now, when they come back home, do you think in your house, they have the same environment, or they're operating in a different kind of environment from your home? Is the home chaotic, where anything goes? There's no time for lunch, no time for learning, no time for napping, no time for, everything is not planned. And so children run riot. At times you take them to a social event, they are running everywhere because in the house, there's no order. Those things are signals that our trained professionals pick up. So we must try to create the same environment that children have in the school. That environment of order must be there. So I want you to just take that, very important. Raise yourself before you can raise your children. Raise yourself. I don't know which area you look at yourself and say, look, I think if I have children, I don't think I'll perform very well. As a parent, I'm not performing very well. So we must raise ourselves. Now, what we are going to look at today, module 1, is mental health and the family. Mental health and the family. I'm not going to be the only one, and I'm going to ask us, when we talk of mental health, what do you understand? Please, I need contributions. Mental health issues, what do you understand? Please, somebody help us. Just give me a minute. Sorry, that was my dog. He wanted to go out of the room. Okay. So somebody, yeah, Sister Francesca.
To me, it's emotional disorder because we ourselves, like a nurse, they told us that actually we are a professional. You don't have mental, but we still have mental in our practice because sometimes we get stressed and we get stressed in doing our things. It's not a psychiatric, problem, but emotional, mental in such a way that you are not articulated, and then you don't, sometimes your mind is not a focus on what you are doing. So that can make you to be mentally, mentally disorder, because it's not, to me, to us, they say we have physical, to our professional, it's a physical and mental being, problem that we have when we are operating. So sometimes when we have problem at home, we bring it in the working place, and the way we implement it is not, it's going to affect the patient. That's what I want to, just mental disorder. That's the way I can put it.
That is fine. That is, yeah, that's very, very, very important. Now, if as a nurse, if somebody is having that mental or had a problem and is affecting their emotions and mentally, and it affects the patient, what of somebody at home who have the same? Do you think it will affect the children?
It will, of course, yeah, definitely. It will affect not only the children, anybody that is around you. It will affect it. Yeah, the environment as well, because the way you will be doing things, it's going to be disordered. Everything is going, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Any other person that want to help us? Mental health. What do we understand by mental health, and what do you think is the difference between mental health problem and the psychiatric problem? Who wants to help us out? Okay. Well, you have said it. Mental health. Why I wanted us as parents to talk about this is that I've had parents who the children were taken away, and one of the things they used against her is this mental health issue, and she didn't understand why. because she's not, you know, back home when they say you have a mental health problem, we think the person is mad. Oh, that's insanity. So they said we are going to, because of that, and now advise us, okay, let's get a psychiatrist, a psychologist to have a meeting with you. She was angry with me. She said that she's not mad. And I said, no, you are getting it wrong. Everybody at one time or the other go through mental health issue. Everybody, no matter how strong you are. Because when challenges come, and anytime challenges come and you are so disorganized, that is mental health. It doesn't need to be a long one. Yes, psychiatric problem is the one that is perennial. Psychiatric problem is where a doctor looks at you and diagnoses it and notice that there is an imbalance somewhere where you cannot articulate what you're doing for a long time. But mental health is not that you cannot articulate your words or something. It's just that you are kind of, there is a trauma underneath. There's a conflict you have not been able to resolve. There is a problem that have come that is weighing you, you know, that in such a way that you are not able to reason the normal way. So when we say somebody have mental health problem, it's not that the person is completely insane. The person is not insane. It can be work pressure. When there's a pressure, when there's so much work pressure on you, you are not yourself. You can't function the same way. If like those who work many hours, that's why the government have restricted hours that we should work in a week. So when one person works for a long time without taking a break, the person somehow suffers a kind of a pressure, and that is mental health. So we want to promote mental health well-being in the family. Now, that is adults. Do we believe that children have mental health issues? Do they ever suffer mental health issues? 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 12-year-olds. Do we believe that children suffer mental health issues? Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you that children do suffer mental health, but it's a question of how they express it.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the volume of homework some teachers give children. You know, yeah. When they couldn't cope, they will come to you as mom, dad. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow you found out that some of them, I don't want to go to school. Why? Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean, it's a question of how do they express it, and there'll be some other areas yeah, I do agree with you that children have because mental health is more about emotions, about stress, you know, anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're very correct. So, but do you think that where we are coming from, those of us who were not born in the UK, do you think that back home that parents ever believe that children have mental health issues?
If I'm to contribute again on that, they don't even believe that adults have mental health, unless if you've gone to the extent of being a mad person. So we don't up to the time I was in Nigeria permanently. Yeah, people I've not even heard about mental health. I know that we said that someone is mad, you see him properly a mad person. So yeah, so I don't think we believe that children have that. We don't even believe that adults have this anxiety, emotional, you know. So it's a question of the reporting, the awareness, and all this kind of stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, because back home there's a stigma attached to insanity. So if you now say you have any type of mental issue, that stigma comes out. Even in the UK, it's until recently that employers have been encouraged, especially since Prince William and the wife have been raising it, that now people can speak up and say, look, I'm having challenges. I can't concentrate. I'm overworked. I'm under pressure. Can I take time off? Before, there was stigma around it. But the government is encouraging everybody not to allow that stigma. If you struggle, say it. Now, let me define it from my notes here. I said, mental health challenge or sickness is a state of being, a state of well-being in which the individual realizes or her own abilities can no longer cope with the normal stresses of life. You discover that your ability can no longer cope with the stresses of life, financial stresses, family stresses, coronavirus, social events. And when such happens, such a person cannot work productively or fruitfully and is unable to make a contribution to his or her community. It is a totality of emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So it looks at every aspect of your life at any given time. Now we said children suffer the same. Because when we don't have that understanding, when a child is traumatized, they can display so many odds, so many lifestyles that sound odd, that looks odd. And majority of the times, we parents may even be angry. We may react to them angrily. Some parents will label them. Some parents will chastise them. So mental health issue is a person's psychological and emotional condition. It is mild. Mental health problem is mild and is temporary. It is mild. Employers have it. Leaders have it. Anybody can affect anybody. But the problem is how you handle it. Detection, early detection. What is done about it? If you keep going, somebody can break down. Somebody can break down. That's why at times if you break down, the government may intervene until they release you again. Once you stabilize, because if you notice that there are too many things coming your way and you are losing grip, it's good you take break. That's why the government also encourages us to have break, have holidays. Employers. Why? So that you can relax. So if we can't detect that children have mental health, how will we be able to offer solution? How will we be able to get treatment for them? So this has been one of the problems, that parents do not know that when they are going through emotional issues, that it reflects on the children. So the children, in a way, absorb it and also display it elsewhere. So our duty here is to help us to deal with that and to understand that whatever happens to us has a way of affecting our children. So if we detect it that our children are having this as well, if we are taking treatment, we can also give our children treatment. And if we detect it early and we are helping the child will not be detected in school or by the doctors. So mental health in young people is becoming prevalent due to pressure and stress associated with modern life. It's also is associated with hormonal change in those who are going into puberty, teenage life, and peer pressure. Now, I want us to reflect. Look at a typical child. What do you think that can cause mental health problem in a child? What is the example you can profile that, okay, this can lead a child to have mental health breakdown?
Okay. Can I come in there?
Yes, please.
Well, there are a lot of things that could result to a child having a mental health, issue. One of the key things that I notice is a kind of disconnect, from their feelings, emotion. When you are not, a parent is not able to identify the child's feeling and his emotion, and that disconnect, could cause, stress in the child. Just like we have established the definition of mental health, to be the state of the child's, mind, his body, and feeling, an ability to cope, with stress, it involve emotion, and the psychology and the social well-being. Sometimes it's not just about a child who come back from school. He has, an issue and is trying to discuss something with you, and you are not giving that child a listening ear. You're not, giving that child attention, and this could continue over and over, and it will cause, that disconnect. The child to be withdrawn. The child could, be abused. The abuse we are talking about is not only at home. It could be there in school. The child is being bullied, and the child is trying to confide in you, and you don't have that attention. It could also be, at home. You are maybe something is going on in the house when you are not around, and the child is trying to discuss it with you, and you don't give that. It could also, it could degrade the child's mental health. Not not just you as a parent providing. You should all have time to, to listen to your child and know what that child is really, trying to message a child want to pass across to you. So you'll be able to, provide the need, you're able to solve that problem at that time. Just like our African parent, and from you come into this country as a migrant. You could be on the tier 4 visa, you could be on any, you are struggling to do this, you are struggling to go to school, come back, and then you have to balance your time with your children, and so sometimes this disconnect could also result to some kind of mental, health issue, which has to go cut across their psychology, their social well-being, and their emotion.
Yes.
So
yeah, so that's very important. Have you noticed some teenagers who are able to talk? They said nobody listens to me. Some of them have had that problem from the beginning, and that traumatizes them. And so at times we see some behaviors. At times we see some attitude in them because there's conflict. Some people say, oh, some children say, oh, my mom doesn't love me. My dad doesn't love me. Now, so that you are so true. So there are so many triggers, things that can trigger emotional sickness. There are so many risk factors that parents must look out for. So some of the risk factors, triggers, as you said, is things that happen in school: bullying, racism. When the child is being picked upon, they try to think about it. Why is it happening to me? Why me? What is going on? And they come back from school, at times they lose appetite. They don't even know how to explain to you what happened to them. And you may not even know, or you are even at work. And they're trying to deal with it their own way. When you give them food, they may eat, they will take the chocolate, but there is something wrong. So at times they want to go to school tomorrow, they say, I don't want to go to school. And you don't even know how to. And at times they won't tell you that they don't want to go to school. They are dragging, they are distracting. You see them going late, and you as a parent, all you are noticing is that, oh, this child is wasting time. It's not, you don't want to get ready for school. Then you get upset. You don't understand them. Some are global events. Global events can cause an adult trauma, can cause an adult mental or emotional problem. The same thing happens in children. A lot of us don't discuss with our children. Let's say coronavirus. How many of us believe that coronavirus, that some children were emotionally kind of disbalanced? They faced emotional problem and mental problem because of coronavirus. Why? Because as adults, maybe you're on the phone and somebody calls you. Oh, do you know that colleague is dead? Ah, do you know that other man died? That member of the church died. And the child is hearing death, coronavirus, death. And nobody is explaining to the child that something is going on. The child is now thinking, oh my God, who knows whether it's my dad next time? I hope it's not my mom next time. I hope it's not me. I hope it's not my teacher. I hope it's not somebody I know. And nobody is talking to that child. That can cause mental health problem in a child if unaddressed. Global events, when there is an earthquake somewhere, most of us don't discuss it. The child is thinking, could it be my house next? There is a killing protest everywhere and many people are killed. That can affect them. I have these young people I teach in, it's a different team, not this. And one of the times when we are talking, I'll ask them, oh, have you visited, because we're trying to learn Nigerian language. So have you been to Nigeria? I said, no, we don't want to go to Nigeria. They just blanked out. They didn't want to hear anything. I had to ask, stop. I said, please tell me, what's the problem? Said they are so scared. They are really scared because of what they're hearing on the news. So have you discussed with your parents? Said no. Excuse me, I had to take time to explain to them that this is Nigeria. If you have families in Nigeria, when Nigeria is Nigeria, the culture is rich. We live a community life. We have uncles, we have aunts. I try to make them understand that there is still something nice going on. However, that yes, the government, what they're looking at is the government. So it's not that there are not people, there are people still living in Nigeria who are not dead. It's not everybody that is dead. So I had to have that little chat. I said, go home and discuss more with your parents. Such as global events, which is not direct, but it can impact on the children. So peer pressure, as we have said before, can cause mental health problems. When a child is being picked upon, when a child is bullied, it can trouble them. But the problem is, it's only a parent who is emotionally connected that can pick it up. And that is where we are coming to. Remember, what we are saying is, we want to stop those things that trouble children, that parents are not able to pick up and act on, that are picked up by the authorities. There are circumstances, conflicts, when there is divorce in the house. Do you think that parents usually sit children down and tell the children that this is going on without making one person trying to make himself or herself look nice? Parents are fighting and quarreling in the presence of the children, and they don't know that the child is picking it up, is troubling them. Okay, if dad walks away from this house, how are we going to cope? Am I going to see my dad again? Is it I'm not going to see him again? These things contribute. These things contribute. So we are here to say, parents, whatever you are doing, let your first consideration be the best interest of your children. If it gets to that point where there must be separation, the children should be sat down and explained, not to mess up their mind, not to tell them their dad is bad or your mom is bad. Tell them why you need to separate. And tell them that I will still be in touch. You will still see me. This is the arrangement in place. Because when you have all this acrimonious separation and divorce, the people that it affects most are the children. It affects the children, it affects their output in school, their performance, their well-being, and otherwise. Biological and family factors can cause mental health issues. Domestic violence, sicknesses, death in the family. When we were growing up, if somebody dies in a family, we children hear it, and nobody explains to us what happens. Now, in this country, at times somebody goes to hospital and dies, and nobody sits down and tell the child, you know that uncle, this is what has happened. We only do it if it is like a parent, mother and father. We don't explain. Now, you know the impact. If that uncle goes to hospital and dies and doesn't come back, when you are going to hospital, you stay 3 days, that child is already having mental problem because it says, oh, I hope she will come back. Or has she also gone not to come back with like uncle? Will mommy go to heaven with uncle like that? So you have to tell your child, we have to learn to communicate with them, to let them know this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hospital because doctor says this is going on, and it's not that I'm going to die. They're just going to do this, and after a few days, I'll come back. You can also come and see me. That child goes to school knowing that all is well. I'll give you an example. There was when my son was a bit younger, my husband travels regularly. And usually we talk about it, but we didn't know, we didn't discuss it. And he traveled. So one day the school called me and said, oh, your son is crying and we don't know why. He couldn't concentrate. He missed his classes. So they called me. I came from wherever I was. I drove down there and they said, what's going on? I said, ask him. He said, I miss my daddy. I said, where's your daddy? He said, he traveled. Oh, I said, I'm so sorry. I thought we explained it to you. He said, no, we didn't talk about it. You see what I mean? So that was so minor. Something that all of us said, Baba, I took him to the airport. But it was still affecting him. We didn't detect it at that point. So a lot of children are going through that. Something as simple as that can have this devastating impact on the children. And if it was not that this was a good thing that the dad traveled, that child would have put us in trouble. Imagine if there was something that was going on in the house and they called me, the child would tell them, this is what is going on. Do you think they will allow me to go home with the child? No. That's how you see their police will just arrive and say, well, we are sorry, we are not going home with this child. I told us a story, those who were in the other class before. A man was living in this country for years, suffered, and now brought his family, brought his children, and they brought the wife. And you know, in Africa, it is normal that in school, children share their sweeties, they share peanut, they share whatever their savories or whatever snacks. Now, when these children came here, whenever they went to church, they were just asking from everybody, oh, give me a little bit of your sweetie, give me a little bit of your this, give me a little bit. And the father was so upset. The father was angry with the mother. So you didn't bring these children up in the right way. The woman said, I did, but this is how we do it in Africa. So you know what this man did? This man had talked over days, over weeks, and it didn't work. And he began to threaten the child. He said, any day you ask of chocolate in church again, I'm going, he brought a machete, a knife. I said, I'm going to kill you. And the child apologized. I'm sorry, daddy, I'm sorry, daddy, I'm sorry, daddy. He didn't know that there was fear that has been instilled in that child. When this child went to school, they looked at him, what's going on with you? He said, I'm afraid of my daddy. Afraid of your daddy? He said, he's going to kill me. When the mother went to pick up the child, police arrived. Said, sit down, call your husband to come. The husband came, said, you're not going with your children because this child, you have threatened your child. What happened? The man was like, what happened? When? And the child told the story. The man told it. That man went to prison and they deported him. Those children were given into given up for fostering. These are practices we do back home and nobody thinks about it. And those children go through emotional trauma, mental health, without us knowing. So it took somebody in school to detect it. So this is what we are talking about. That what we say, what we do at home has a way of impacting on the children. It has a way, you know. So racism, whether institutionalized or physical racism, these things affect the children. Now, as a parent, very soon we are going to have a brief break. What are the cues? What are the cues? What are the things you need to look out for? Because where there is mental health problem, the first thing we do is to detect it. It's very important to detect when our children are having challenges, when they are traumatized, when something is happening to them. When we detect it, we must empathize with them. We must understand with them without labeling them, without judging them. Then we will now look for solution. Now, what are the cues? Can you give us examples? What, as a parent may be, to be, what are the cues? What are the things to look out for in children?
Yeah, is the child withdrawn?
That's the powerful one.
Mm-hmm.
When there is withdrawal in children, a child that is troubled normally withdraws. A child, let's say a child that's like what you said earlier Sunday, a child that doesn't get attention, or that child wants to say something, you are not listening actively. You know how you are watching the child say, mommy, can I tell you something? Yes, you have phone on one side, you are washing in one hand, then you say, go ahead and talk. The child will just say, okay, it's okay, I'll talk to you later. Now, when you ask that child again, they won't listen again. So what are they going to do? Some of them will withdraw, whether it is the problem is coming from home or from outside. Some of them will withdraw. So when you notice your child withdrawing, you must take action. You must take action. You must find out, why are you withdrawn suddenly? Most of them will say, will not even tell you. They say, nothing, mommy, nothing. No, it's not enough. Don't take it. Because there are children today, let's say those who are like 8, 9, 10. On their way back from school, there are bigger children who encounter them. Some drug dealers encounter some of them and threaten them. Tomorrow, if you don't meet me, I'm going to deal with you. I have something to give you. Now they come back home, they don't know who to communicate it to. And they run into their room. They are there. What are they doing? They are trying to calculate, what am I going to do when I meet this person tomorrow? So withdrawal is one of them. Second one, another one, can somebody help us with another one? Can somebody help us with another one?
Not sure if this fits in, but some will obviously start crying, which will create attention.
Yeah, that is so true. Some of them become very teary. At every little thing they are crying. You don't even understand why they're crying. I think somebody shared in the last class, this person has like 2 children, and one is always asked to do something. Because, you know, as a parent, you feel the other one is the last child, the other one is too small, then you are sending the other one, go and do that, go and do that. And this child felt, in his own mind, he felt that he was being used or punished. Why is it only me doing everything? And next time when the mother says, the child will start crying. And the woman couldn't comprehend it. And in a typical African or Caribbean woman, you go and hit the child on top of it, that you're a stubborn child. I said, no, you need to listen to that child. What's the problem? The problem is the child feels, why is it that I'm the only one doing everything and my younger sister? So it's always important. Like when my children were growing up, I don't allow them to do dishes, if you are using washing machine, until they get to about 8, 9 years. Now, when they get to 8, 9 years, I have to sit them down and explain to them that, you see, this person is 9 now, so she's going to start doing this, doing that. When you get to 9 years, you will do the same. So now that she's doing it, please don't see that you're the only one doing it. The other people will do it when they get your age. So they are not thinking that I am punishing them. So it's not causing them problems. So they understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. And also, I know parents at times, you just marshal out, okay, when you come back, do this, do that. It's not enough. Explain to them why. It's because for them, you're passing on all the responsibilities. It is good you give them assignments, but explain to them that this is why today it is your turn. You see, mommy, I'm going to work. When I come, I'll cook. If I do everything, I'll break down. Do you think I will break down? You say, yes. Do you want me to be in hospital? No, mommy. Is it good to help mom? Say yes. That child will do the work with their heart, with all their whole being, without being angry. But if you just feel that's a child, you go and do the dishes, go and mop the floor, go and do the toilet. They don't comprehend. So, but you are just sitting down there. Mommy, you are just sitting down there. Why are you not doing it? Such things create a different image in the mind of the children. And they may think I am not loved by my mother because I'm the only one doing everything. I'm doing everything in the house. But when you have that dialogue, have that discussion at every stage, that is what we talk about, respecting our children's opinion, respecting their emotions. We must learn to respect their emotions. Some of us feel, oh, they are children of the parents, so we dish out instructions. No, we've gone beyond that dishing out of instructions. Have a chat with your children. Have discussions why things are being done, why you are the one doing it, why I'm the one doing it. It's very important. It doesn't remove the respect or your integrity. Rather, it increases your integrity in the eyes of your children. Because the children we are training, as I said, in the school environment, teachers do not order them around. So when they go to school, they are not ordered around. They are told, this is why we are doing this. This is why I asked you to do it. And this is what I'm doing. They feel respected. Now, when they come back home, it's not done the same. There's conflict in their head. They don't comprehend it. They don't comprehend it. Even some of our children, they see how at times, Caucasian parents talk to their children, communicate everything. And they look at their mom or their dad, nothing. They are just asked to do something. Some of them, it causes some conflict in their mind. So you look out for that. At times, sleeping a lot or not even sleeping at all is a sign of trauma in children. So you notice that your child is not sleeping enough, not eating properly, changing their appearance, lack of self-care or hygiene can be a signal that something is going on. I gave an example again, sometime of a boy who, whenever he went to school, he had these boxers. So whenever they went to dress up for their physical education, another boy will say, oh, your boxers looks as if you are the word gay. And the child said, no, please don't use that word. I'm a Christian. I respect you if you are that or somebody is that, but for me, I am not. Don't use that word on me again. Every time this continued, and that child went back home and told the mother, I don't want those boxers again. The mother said, but I just bought it newly, so I don't want them. And this child became so aggressive. Every little thing he was now fighting, arguing, crying, and weeping. And the mother didn't understand it. When it came to my knowledge, I told the mother there's a solution. Take this child alone, out alone. Don't go with other children. Only this child. Take that child alone. Let it be mother and Sunday or father and Sunday. Buy them something nice. Engage them in different discussions. And now you will see the child will open up and say, why you? This is not you. You're always a happy child, but in the past 3 months, you have been so miserable. You are always angry and upset. What is going on? I love you. Did I do something wrong? That child will now open his mouth and tell the mother that I don't like it. So the mother went to the school, told the school, and the school didn't do much. The mother had to move the child to another school, and that child changed again and became normal. Became different person again, and happy, no more angry. So at times you see children reacting in certain ways, and we don't know. Then unfortunately, we also get angry and join the whole thing, and it exacerbates. So we have to look out for these things. We have to look out for the cues when they are sudden silent, when a child is suddenly silent, when a child is indifferent, can't be bothered anymore. I don't care what you say anymore. I don't care what you do to me anymore. When a child is competitive, can you help me with, if you notice a child is competitive, what do you think is the reason? So we'll take a break at 5:50, then we'll come back in 5 minutes time, just to stretch your leg and have some water. So before it is, we have 3 more minutes now at this session. Please, can you share with us, what do you think, if you notice a child that is over competitive in your house or in a family, what do you think is the possible reason?
Should I say discrimination?
Yeah, okay. Explain why did you say discrimination?
Because if you have two children, and then you prefer to help the other person and then not treating the other person, the same thing, and
Mm,
there's it's kind of something like competitive between them. So it will be like a labeling. There is one that you love more than the other one. So I think it can bring that competitive stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, you're spot on. You're spot on.
And then I can use this opportunity to say something more.
Yeah.
We parents, we are role model. Okay,
Mm,
our children are looking at us. Yeah,
mhm,
so sometimes we will say something to them, and then at the end of the day, when they are looking at us to do that which we have said to them, it's on the other way around. They see us doing something indifferently from what we have said. So it's
yeah.
impacting their life. It's bringing negative aspects in their life. They
Yes.
want us to do what we have told them. There are some cases, because when I was back home, by God's grace, I was living with people. So that's what I was implementing, and it was working.
Mm,
So, and if I want to scold at them, if I want to, because children are innocent, they are
yeah.
innocent.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to direct them right, okay? And
Mm,
then if you don't direct them right, you're not doing good to them,
mm,
So sometimes when I want to scold at them, when I want to, bring them to right, I will tell them, see, this is right thing to do. But
mm,
then they will be watching you. You don't know they will be watching me. And then
mhm,
whenever I talk, they will implement it because they have seen me doing that, and they will be happy to do that. And then they will be open to tell
yeah.
you everything. But
Yeah.
if you are doing something else and then telling them to do another thing else, they are not happy at all. They don't fancy it. And then if they go outside and somebody tell them something different, they would like to get, involve themselves outside than involving themselves inside, That's what I want to
Absolutely.
say. Yeah.
You are very correct. Children do not pick on or act more on what you say. They act more on what you do.
Passion.
That is very correct. So when a child is competitive, is exactly what you said. It's the environment in the house. If one other child is always commended, giving word of affirmation, oh, you are really doing very well, and compared, when a child is compared with the other one and talked down on and picked on, that child can become competitive. Why? Because they have tried to, understand, why am I different? Why are they treating me different? Why is everything like this? You know what they're going to do? They will try everything to please you. They will be competitive. They want to report any other, that one you prefer. If they do any little thing, they want to report. I say, you see that what are they looking for? For you to discipline that one as well. Because you discipline them, this person every time, and this one, there's no discipline, there's no chastisement, there's nothing. Now they will start trying to pull somebody down. They're trying to make the other person get into trouble. So what happens is, because they have tried to process what they're receiving, maybe the word that you're speaking to their heart, telling them they are not good, you are not performing very well. Don't you see your sister doing very well? And every time, when uncles or aunties come around, or you are in the midst of people, you have visitors, the child comes to greet, then you say, that child, this one, before she comes here, you have something negative to say. So the child will try to process it. So that is where emotionally they are troubled. Mentally, they can't understand what they have done differently. And at times it can result in aggression, disruptive lifestyle, competitiveness, overly active. So some people will now want to do so much. So have you noticed in the social life that there are some people that can go to any length to get love and attention? They want to get attention by all means. Why? Because when they were growing up, they did not get attention. So these things are things we have to look at. Some of them become mischievous. They're seeking attention. If a child is blamed always, some of them become chatty. It's a sign of having been neglected. Parents have not been listening to them. So once they see another uncle, another teacher, they open up. And so if you don't detect these things, if you don't resolve them, they will go out and they will make disclosures. Teachers will start wondering, Why is this child always running around? Why is the child always running under the table? Why is the child always bullying other children? Why is the child always talking? Why is the child suddenly moody? And they will call the parent to meeting. And that could open up so many other things. So we are here to say, parents, we must look at our children. That is our greatest asset. That's the responsibility God have given to us. We cannot see our children as nuisance. It is our, if the government, if the local authority, children are their priority, their interest is the best interest of the children. As a parent, that should be our focal point, not just to make money, not just to work, but the best interest of our children. Everything we do, every decision. So it's important we look out for these cues, because if you are connected to your child, you will pick up when there's a slight change in the life of your child. That mother that noticed that the son had changed suddenly, if that child was not helped, that is why you see some of our young boys, teenagers cannot have discussion with one another. They are stabbing, they are killing. Why? It started when they were young. It's not what just started suddenly. So this is why this course is very important. So we have much more to discuss. So I'll give us 5 minutes, please. I will come back. And Councillor, you said that you will leave by this time. Thank you so very much, Mayor.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I had to join another meeting.
I understand. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll have you next time. Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, bye. So please, everybody,
Bye.
can we come back? Can we come back exactly 5:40, please? Please, 5:40. Just stretch your leg. It's good for your health. And drink a lot of water.
See you, Pastor Chica.
Yeah, I'll come back. Yeah.
Do you have a timer?
Don't give it. Yeah. So if a child, if you are with your child, how will you explain that you are emotionally connected? Let's say you are, yeah, how will you, like, let's give a typical example. A parent's children have been taken away from them, and there is contact. What that means, the government, the social workers have agreed with the parents on so date at so place, you will be seeing the children. So why they are saying you should be seeing the children is not just for you to see your children. They are monitoring you. They are monitoring the relationship. They want to see how you are connected with the child. So what will you say is that the actions you will take that can tell somebody else that you are emotionally connected to your child? It's not just a child taken into care or something. Maybe you are traveling with your children, or you see somebody traveling with a child in the bus, in the plane, and you see the parent, the relationship. How will you detect that this parent is actually emotionally connected?
What I just want to say something.
Yeah.
The child, you have like hugging, kisses, the child coming, to you have raised it, the child paying attention to what the child is coming to tell you. Like I experienced the child want to, the child comes to you and is telling you something. You give attention to the child, but if the child is always distancing himself or herself from you, why in that you see that there's no emotional connection. During the child giving you hugs, say, Daddy, can I give you a hug? Kiss, or at the end of you offer to give the child a hug and a kiss, and the child, he loves doing that,
Okay.
and then
Let me ask you a question back. This child, you have not seen this child for some time, and this child is hugging you again and again. What does it mean?
There's that connection, emotional connection. It means that the child is missing you, of course.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that has been a long time. I have missed you so much. I don't want to let you go. I wish I'm with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in terms of also, a lot of factors go, there, which we can't as African parents, you are limited to, to say certain things because of what, goes around there. Because there are certain things I'm not going to, be speaking, but I just want to say that we have our meal that we prepare. These children enjoy so much. That is a point of, connection with your own children. This meal that you prepare and take to them, they enjoy and so this food is so delicious. And then you have that family time with them, they play around, you play with them, they engage with you in different activities, you engage them in different activities, they discuss with you, that that flows, from the child to you and you to the child. That actually is a signal of a connection, emotional connection with your children.
Okay, that is fine. I want to give you another scenario. You go to the restaurant, maybe you went to McDonald's to eat, and you see a mother or a father and a child eating, and the child eats and keeps quiet and looks at the food, eats, looks at the food, doesn't look at the dad or something. What do you think is going on?
There's separation there. There's separation. The mood is not conducive.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
There's something behind it.
Yes. So you pick it up. That child either is not comfortable or that child did not get what the child wanted, or that child feels that food is not satisfied.
Yeah,
with the
but if
food.
it is not satisfied, I think if they have a motive, if they have a cordial relationship,
Yeah.
I think he will ask the parents, my daddy, I don't like this food. Can they change it for me, please? And then
Yes.
you, as a parent, you will go into, please, what happened to the food? You listen to him and he will tell you. Then you ask the people that are, can you change this food for my child? You know, they
Yes.
will, yeah, and the child will be so relaxed and happy that somebody is behind, the parent is beside him or behind him. But if you just
Absolutely.
leave it like that and they will be eating and eating, not taking care of them, it's not good, my dear. It's not.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
only that, we have to put into consideration the like and dislike of the children. We have to not only our own like, we have to put them as an individual. They are even though if they don't talk, you have to
Mm.
talk to them. Put them in your own position. They are
Mhm.
human. They are human. So sometimes our parents, Igbo people, they don't put the dislike of the children. They want to impose everything because I'm parent. I'm parent. They are human. They are people that you have to. I don't know how to say it, my dear. Let me just
Mm.
keep quiet.
No, that is true. I the remember, we are not putting down our culture. We are only flagging up certain things we do differently that are frowned at here in the UK. You see a parent to get ready in Nigeria, so I'm taking my children out, and they're very excited. Children are excited. And they get there, and the child is eating and shows this thing I have explained before. Do you think the Nigerian parents will listen to the child? They will notice it and say, hey, this is what you do at home. You have brought it here also in the shop. If you don't eat this food, I'll take it away. I'll give it to your brother.
Yeah, I just want to ask.
Yeah.
So, like you are having a supervised contact
Yeah.
with the children. You ask the child what the child want to eat, and the child says, "Oh, bring this normally African meal or whatever." And children are very unpredictable somehow. They tell you what they need. The next moment, they've changed their mind, and you prepared what they requested for. You get there, and the child will say, "No, I don't want to eat this."
Yes.
Or you don't at that point. Sometimes you have two different meals in case they fail, to take this, and the child, say, "No, this is not what I want." But the child told you, in the previous, you have made this request, and you are saying no. It's being supervised. The people who are writing, they will feel that, oh, the child has not eaten. The child has rejected the meal. So how do you navigate through that, in the sense of understanding the child's needs, identifying the child's needs, and meeting that needs, and the connection with the child, and I'm just talking about this issue of emotion, and the child's feeling, and trying to meet the child's need within that point, of that control environment where you find yourself. Because when you are being supervised, the person is looking for something, and sometimes they are human too. They have a way of trying to report in a way that it favors their paymaster, So it's sometimes very, very difficult. I think so. I'm just asking, how do you navigate yourself through this process in order to balance up, ensure that you meet the child's needs, and you're also being reported properly,
Okay, yeah, that's
something.
Yes, please.
Just if I don't say right, please, Pastor, as our pastor beloved, you can come in, okay?
Yeah.
Please, yeah. To my own understanding, it depends on how we talk, To me, if something like that comes to my way, by His grace, yeah, I will speak politely and quietly to the child. If at home, yeah, I have cooked something and then the child now dislike it and say, Mom, he wants another thing. I know to my own side, I don't have time to be preparing many, there is no time to prepare more. But I will say to her, please, my darling, my dear, the way you present, please, can you take this now? Maybe next tomorrow I can do that. I don't have time. I don't have to do that. And I'm so tired. I want to have rest. Do you want me to have rest, or do you want me to go? What do you want me for me? What do you want for me? And then from there, you will listen to him. And you can say to the child, or can I add this to that so that you can like it? Can you eat it together with what we have in the fridge? And then you can eat it together. What do you think? What do you think? Please help me. There is a way you can talk, and the child will be, okay, mom, okay, let me just eat it. Okay, don't worry. And if you're outside and something like that happens, and if you are in the canteen and they serve something and the child doesn't like it, you still have the way you talk to the child politely and humbly and in a lovely way. Oh, my dear, he will calm down. The word of God said, salty words. I don't know. He bring down, there's a way the word of God said it. Sorry, I'm using the word of God here.
Yeah, soft words.
Sorry, I'm using that word of God here. Yeah. Even though if it's outside, you have already bought something and they rejected what you have been served. He has been served, the food or whatever. You can ask the child, please, can I ask the steward or whatever to bring another thing to add it so that you can eat, because so that we can go home in time. Or if you go home, I can prepare good, good food to you. There's a way, because if they bring another thing, you are going to pay more. You are going to pay more you are going to spend more money. So the way you present things will calm them down, and they will love you. And at the end of the day, they will give you a kiss and eat it. So that's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let me give a bit of that was a good response. Let me give a bit of background to what brother is saying. Let's give an example. A child is already in care. Yeah. So that child is in care, but the social services have now arranged for you to meet your child somewhere. And before you are going there, you have spoken to the child, or they have told you this child said they want moi moi. Then you go there with moi moi. Suddenly, the excitement of the child after seeing the moi moi just disappears. It's like, I don't want to eat it again. And meanwhile, the social worker is sitting there watching both of you. So our brother, I say, what do you do? What you said is correct. But what I want to, okay, go ahead, Sister Francesca.
I don't know what I will say, because the social service is watching us, isn't it?
Yeah.
I will ask him. I will ask the child, why didn't you want to take the mama you have requested? Because that's the only thing I have here. From what he said, I will know what else to say. But if there is any shop around, I'll say to him, okay, do you want me to go to the shop and buy something from you? If there is any shop around, then he will tell me yeah or not or whatever. If there is no shop, I will tell him, unless you have to manage this, then when next time I'm coming, I can bring what you want, because it's not my home and there is no shop. There's nothing I can do. But I will bring everything I have with me in the bag I bought for him, because I'm not going to buy only my. I'm going to buy other things in case, because you have known your child. So that's the only thing I don't know. That's the only thing I can say. And the Spirit of God will direct you, so I don't know.
Yeah. What you said is also having an alternative in the bag is very important. So that is one. Maybe when you are going, you go with more than one particular food that you know the child likes. But because everything you say and everything you do, how you react when the child now suddenly say, I don't want that food, is very important. They will take note of it. And at times they would deliberately feed that child before they come there. What are they trying to, why did they feed the child, knowing that the child is going to eat your food? They want to see how you will react. So when such happens, you put the child to yourself, say, oh, I understand. Could it be you've eaten before? Have you had lunch already? Have you had breakfast? You don't have or you don't have appetite? Is there any issue? Or did it not taste nice? Because I know you like this. Oh, okay. Can I give you something else? Okay, don't worry if you don't want to eat, no problem, no problem, no problem. So what are you going to eat next? You have had breakfast, now what's your lunch? What's the lunch? Just ignore that they didn't eat it. Still be excited, just feel, if it is what they want, then you have to respect it. Okay, no problem, no problem. So what are you looking for to eat in the afternoon? What is it? Do you want me to buy it for you? The child may say, oh, no, we are going to have macaroni. Oh, and I would have prepared. I wanted to prepare that, but I didn't know you will. Anyway, no problem. Next time, I'm going to prepare another one for you, but I really, really feel bad that you couldn't eat. I really feel bad, yeah, that you couldn't. I feel you have missed our normal food. I know back home you like eating this meal. And what was the last time you ate this food, like beans, like that food you have at that point? Really ask the question in every angle. Do you still miss eating this food? If that is Gary, do you miss eating? Have you eaten it for some time now? The child will say, no, 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 no. Okay, is it now because you have not been eating it for a long time where you are, so you don't feel it is part of your diet again? Is it something if I bring it next time, will you still eat it? Let that child respond. So, okay, that's fine. I will go home with it. But I'm sorry that I don't even have something else you can eat. So you're trying to show, because that child has something to say, but because people are around, they don't want to say it. That child is full of words. But because there is no confidential, there are other people there, that child doesn't want to say something. That child wants to tell you, in our house where we are, and after eating this one, when next will I eat it? There is nothing like that where I'm going. That is because they don't give it to us. That is what they want to communicate, but they can't say it. So they are communicating that, okay, after eating this one, if I go back now, I can't have it again. It's a way of saying it because they don't give it to us. But because they know that somebody else is sitting there, that child will not say it. You could also say, well, I know. That's why you asked that question. When was the last time you ate this food? Okay, since you can't eat it, can I give it to you to go back with? Even though you know they won't take it. You suggest it. Or do you think there's somewhere they sell it around there? Maybe if you eat it at home, maybe you feel better. Do you think if you eat it in the house, if I give it to you to go home with, will you be able to eat it? Maybe because you're in an open place. Is that why? The child may say something, but it's good you ask all those questions in the round, not in anger, not saying, oh, maybe they told you not to eat it. That's why you are behaving like that. What is going on now? No, because what you are doing is not what somebody has told them, but it is about the happiness of your child. So you look in the round, what could be the reason? Are you feeling well? Are you okay? Do you want to tell me something? Is there something bothering you? This is not like you. You normally eat your fufu very well. What's going on? Speak to me. I'm listening. I won't tell anybody, You put your ear, say, I'm listening to you. Can we speak to me? So these things, they are watching you. So they know that it's not just, oh, the child didn't eat food, okay. So they know you are truly concerned, that you have picked up something deeper. And they also know that the child doesn't want to say something. Any genuine one will write it down, that this is what they found out, but they will not tell you that they wrote it down. Problem we have is that even when they write, when the social workers look at those reports, they pick the one they want to pick. They will leave the good one. And they will emphasize on the negative one they picked up. So most times they see those good things you do, but the problem is them, which one do they focus on? Yeah. So it's very important. It's like when you go to a restaurant, if I see somebody with children that are not their children, I always know. I always know. I always dictate, no matter how all of you play very well, auntie, uncle, I will know that this is not your child. Because of little connection you don't pick up, like cues you don't pick up immediately, like take somebody else to pick up. So now when we were talking about mental health and the family, we looked at mental health affecting adults as well as children. Now, when we detect there's mental health, a child is having mental health, is having problem concentrating, having problem doing schoolwork, having problem listening, having problem participating, and all that. What do we do? it's time for intervention. We must intervene and support that child. We need to give that support. That's why it's good we have a network. We have a network. Now, if you notice that your child has become disruptive, you have tried, let's say your child is with you, and the child is now disruptive and you don't know why, you have tried to help this child and the child is getting out of hand. What do you do? Can somebody help us, please?
Well, I think normally in a system like here in the UK, there are referrals that need to be made. So it's important you know where you can get support from in respect to the issue you have identified, where intervention can really be sought for. So if you notice that a child, for example, the child is not sleeping, and you tried all that, they have experts who are in that. So you could consult relevant bodies who could refer you to them, sleeping expert. They will tell you what you need to do. Or if it's something like has to do with speech therapy, the speech delay or speech what the child has, there are speech therapists, where you can be referred to. Like my son had that, and we discussed and referral were made. Then you also could be issue that relate to eating disorder. The child might have to be referred to experts who can handle that very well, and because you can't do it, they are experts who will tell you what you need to do. There's such interventions will really help. All depends on what problem you have identified and who is able to intervene at that point and help you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Sunday. That's very good. But what I tell parents is the first point of call may not be referral, because the problem may not be a long-term one. It may be something you can just address.
Exactly.
So some of my recommendation is to promote good mental health in our children and our young children. The first thing we do is to engage them ourselves. Engage them to find out. I told you of that child, the example of that child who was so upset, enraged, so angry, that even when you are giving the child something, the child can kick your hand and say, no, I don't want it. It took the parents to have a one-on-one to say, look, because it's good you first let your children know that I have your best interest in heart, and what troubles you trouble me. So if they know that you can leave whatever you're doing and give them attention, it also reinforces that confidence they have in you. So they can share with you their other secrets, any other problem that come their way. Because at times, if they have this problem and the first point of contact is a third party, from that day, they may not tell you their problems because you have already told them that you can't handle it at all. So the first point of call is engage with your child, engage with that child, sit down with that child, anything it will cost you, even if it means rewarding them for speaking up, even if it's okay, what should you like? What's the shoe you want? The child will say, I want to, if you can buy me Adidas. Okay, I'm going to buy it, but I'm worried. What I'm seeing, what you're displaying is worrisome, and I don't want it to go on. Tell me, did something happen? Is it what I did? Is it something what somebody else did? Is it something somebody else did to you? I want to help. That child may open up. It may be just something simple. So say, oh, mommy, the way you talked to me the other day, you don't know that it really troubled me, and I thought you don't like me. That's why. I just thought you don't like me. That's why. I thought you don't like me. That could be simple as that. It's all
Sister, you know, sorry to interrupt you. You know that brother, to
Mm.
me, what I think the age, I think he was talking about the age of unable to speak. I think so, because I mean, you know, the little children, there are people that cannot voice out. That is the period, because the parent cannot know their mind. That is the period you can call somebody else to intervene. But if you
Yes.
can know their mind at adolescents, you know, if they can speak up, then that is the one you are talking now. Then you can intervene. Parents can intervene to ask them first before they can go, because there are some children, they don't want people to come into their system, another person outside, to come to intervene or encroach in
Yes.
their phase of their life. Yeah, they would like the parents only to know about that. They would don't want somebody outside to know about that. So that one that doesn't want people to know about that, that is that is the period the parents can intervene and then call them and sit them down and find out more how they can. I think
Yes.
so. Sorry for that.
No, it's okay. That's a valid contribution. What I will say is, like not being a child of 2 or 2.5, not speaking is a different problem.
Okay.
We are talking of anything that is mental health, not like a permanent disability. So a permanent disability where a child doesn't hear, doesn't talk, it's that one's threat. You have to refer. But when it's a child that you know is normal, a child that eats very well, suddenly now every food you bring, the child pushes it away. A child that is a happy child suddenly is so upset with every little thing. A child that is always isolating himself. So these are not permanent problems. This may be problem that came because of what they're going through. So that is where you have to first, as a parent, speak with them, because you will achieve 2 things. Sit down, Daddy. The 2 things you will achieve when you succeed in listening to them is that, one, you have let them know, you have put it in their heart that you actually care for them and how they feel. So secondly, they will now have that confidence to trust you. They will trust you with their life, everything they're doing. Like my children, my girls, no matter how old they are, you can't believe my 17-year-old, when she see her monthly, the first day she will tell me that the thing has come. Because we're always talking. I always want to find out, why is this happening like this? So it's very important it will be fast. So instead of your child to bypass you, to go to somebody else, then if your first point of call is somebody else, when they have any other problem, they will remember you. Because they'll think, what does my mom know? What does my dad know? I know who to call. So the best is, hey, sorry, my dog is playing with this with my niece. Yeah. So you have that, engage with them at every stage. Secondly, give explanation where necessary. Give explanation. I will always go back home. Children have no voice. You don't say anything. Yours is to say yes, sir. You don't even ask your dad. When I came into this country newly, one of the first things I noticed is you tell your child, can you stand up from the seat? Why? And I couldn't comprehend why my own child, Folu, are you here? Folu? Hello, Folu, are you here? Are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. So at some point, please do contribute. So I couldn't comprehend why my child should ask me why, when I never questioned my mom. So I took it the other way around. But at a long run, I discovered that the why they're asking me is not really because they are rebellious, because there were things that were very genuine that they just said why. So I now discover that they are just inquisitive. Remember, when we have children in this country, once you have them 1 week, you are putting them in front of TV. They are watching the telly. So they are learning. They learn so quickly that anything they don't understand, they want explanation. And even the TV they are watching, that's what they do to them. They will explain, can you see, do you see why the dog is not barking? Do you know the reason? So and when they go to school, the same thing happens. They explain everything. The teacher will finish teaching and say, did you understand? Do you have any question? So if you now, back when you are in their house, when they are at home, you just lump something at them or on them, they want to know, so why is this like this? Why do I really need, I'm already sitting here, I'm comfortable on this seat. So, and there's other seat you can sit there. So why are you telling me to leave the seat? This is innocent question they're asking. But from our background, we don't take it that way. Or maybe you have a visitor and they tell the visitor like that. Yes, it's rude to a visitor, but you must quickly tell your visitor that it's not that this child is rude. That is how they are. You explain to the child, okay, yeah, auntie is our visitor, and I want to be seeing her when I'm talking with her. So that's why I want her to sit here. It's as simple as that. They will stand up and go. So we must explain things to them where they ask you. Don't keep them in the dark. Don't try to trick them. Because we are bringing up global children. We are not bringing up village children that you just lump your ideas. Because these children, I don't know if, as I am today, at times there are certain things I'm cracking my brain. I ask my teenager, I should just tell, even when they were younger, they'll just tell you like that. And so if you begin to listen to them, you will really understand that these children are intelligent. So we must listen to them. We must respect their voice. We must respect their opinion. Answer them in a nice way. Don't suspect their questions. I know you're asking because you're just assuming. They may not have anything in mind. These are ways you promote good mental health. Because when they ask innocent questions and you as an adult who should have understood, you take it out of context and you are angry, you rebuke them, even some mothers will hit them. This stubborn child, I'm telling you to stand up from the seat and you're asking me why. You stretch your hand and they can't comprehend it. What have I done wrong? Have you noticed back home that a child will do something wrong and the parents will punish them without explaining to them why I punished you?
That's true.
Yeah. So what do you think? What does it send to their mind? Is that I'm doing something nice, I'm beating. They are beating me, they didn't tell me. They hate me. This is cruelty. That's the way it comes across. And that's why at times children can go out and make disclosures. And the parent, they say, my parent did this to me. And yourself, you can't even, you feel, but I did it because I love you. And they say, no, it's not because you love me. You hate me. That's why you did that to me. So we must give explanations. Answer questions genuinely. Answer questions genuinely. As in school, we treat them with respect. Treat our children equally. We all know this. Praise them where they deserve it. The issue of chastisement, discipline. I always tell parents, and this is legal, please, if it's possible, don't punish your children, discipline them. There are two different things. I'll punish you, I'll not give you food. You are not going to eat food for so that's punishment. Because food is a necessity for the child's upbringing. Now, denying a child of food is cruelty in the eyes of the law. So, but discipline is, come here, you have done something wrong. Do you know what you did wrong? The child said, okay, I will explain to you what you did wrong. I put this flower here and you took it, you put it there. Does it look nice there? And that is wrong. I'm not happy with that. Now, you know what I'm going to do? You go and sit on that seat. Don't watch. I'm going to put off the TV. I'm going to give you at least 10 minutes. The child first knows why you are putting off the TV, knows why you are disciplining them. So next time they won't repeat that. But if they do it and you just get angry, you say, oh, you remove my flower pot, and you give them punishment, they have not understood. Next time they will remove the same flower pot from where it was because you didn't explain it. And that is where we are coming from. We don't explain. We focus on punishment. We focus on discipline because we see ourselves as disciplinarians. So we just want to show that we are disciplinarians. But it's good we are disciplinarians, but what am I trying to emphasize? Letting the child know why they are being disciplined. Because if anything happens and the local authority intervene, they'll ask the child, the child will explain exactly what happened. And they will say, no, my mom told me what I did wrong. They will say the truth. So it's very important. Okay. It's very important that we explain these things, we discipline in love. No intimidation with canes, no threatening. We must listen and discipline equally. If you have more than one child, please discipline equally. It's very important. In doing this, we are promoting good mental health. And when we are disciplined, just give me a minute. I'm sorry, I have my sister-in-law visiting with the children. Yes. So when we are disciplined, the tone is important. We know that we Africans, we have loud voice. Naturally, we have loud voice. But remember that our children are not just Africans. Our children are not just Black children. They are not just Nigerians. They are British. So we have to mind the tone that we use when communicating with them. We might have to mind the tone. The screaming about it, it upsets the children. It embarrasses them. So the house doesn't feel comfortable because mommy is going to shout again. Oh, she's coming back. Oh my God, daddy's coming back. Mommy is coming back. Oh my God. Meanwhile, since you went out, the whole house is quiet. Imagine it's the other way around. The children are quiet, they're watching their telly. At times they will even hear, your child can be in the room for 2 hours, you will even hear their voice. Now you are coming back from work, they're already saying, oh my God, mommy is coming. No, we must try and get our tones right. Must try. You want to say something, Sister Francesca?
No, no, I don't want. But I want to ask you. How do you know? How do you know? Did I show? Did I show it on my face? How do you know that I want to say something? Did I show it on my face?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I want to ask you a question. You know, initially you said if the child is watching television and they ask you something that you need to explain to them. What of in case if you don't know how to, you don't know what is how to explain, don't know what that thing means, and they go outside to get information, because sometimes, like me, there are some certain things that I'm not a television lover or whatever. I don't like television. And then my child now asks me go to the television because he's a young guy, go to the and find something out from there and want me to explain to him, and I don't know what the answer to give. What is going to impart, what impact is he going to bring in his life if he goes outside to get the information? Because I don't want him to get information outside that will, that will damage his way of life or whatever,
Well, it's very important that we parents also, we are knowledgeable.
Okay.
That's why when my children were small, the children's program they watch, most of the times I watch with them. I recommend when your children are young, one of you should do part-time if it's possible. So I sit down with them. At times, even when they're not there, research on it, I go on the internet and find out, okay, about this program they watch. What is it about? So when they ask me, I will say, this is what I know. If you don't know it, be truthful. Some of them, this is what, even now, as I am now, my children know, oh, mommy knows so many things. But there are things they'll ask me, I say, I'm sorry, I don't even know about it. Then you know what? I'm going to find out. You also try and find out. Then we'll meet again and talk about it. Because, yes, don't just say, I don't know this or you go in, I don't even know how it happens. One, you have given them blank. You have just told them, I don't know anything. So even when you have a good idea, they will repel it. Because they will say, I don't even know whether you are telling the truth, whether you research it. Then the second thing is that they will now find alternatives. So when they have problem, they go to that alternative other than you. So, but that's why we need to update ourselves. Listen to a lot of news. things that pertains to young people, be interested about it, even though your children are small. Excuse me, engage with them when they are talking. Also, when they're chatting with their friends at times, listen to pick up those things. So when they bring out an issue, you have something to say. Because if you don't know what to say and they bring their friends, or you go out there chatting with their friends, once you come in, they want to keep quiet. They say, it's coming, my mom is coming. And they keep quiet. And you're like, oh, why are you keeping quiet? But if they know that you're knowledgeable, they will say, oh, my mom, she knows what you're talking about. Their friends say, oh, your mom is coming. So don't worry. Oh, my mom, she knows what she's talking about. So they have that confidence. They also respect you for your knowledge. Because remember, a child, you are the first teacher. We cannot let the TV be the teachers of our children. Cannot just let the school, even the church, Sunday school, some parents now, oh, I want to enroll my child in that church school. It's not the church school that will teach you. They will teach them the normal, but the basic teaching is from you. So we have to listen to them, ask questions, answer them, the one you don't know. Like when the children were growing up, I'm very good with English, literature, and all that. But when it comes to math, I told them, I said, I don't know much about math, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to find out what the answer of this is. Or can you ask your brother or your sister? Then at times I'll go on the internet and search. Can go on YouTube and find out where they are solving such problem. I said, okay, you see, they are doing this program on this, and you watch it. It will tell you exactly. So completely, I am not completely ignorant. I've not exhibited complete ignorance. And it shows that I am interested. I want to help that. I went that extra mile to help them. These things give your children confidence that they will not wake up and go out and make disclosure. Because they know, but it's when a mother doesn't know. I had sometime over 10 years ago of a young child. That child is the one that told social services he wants to go with them. Why? The mother had a breakdown with breakdown in relationship with the maybe boyfriend or something. And that's why I mentioned early, raise yourself before you raise your children. This thing troubled her in such a way that there are days that she's unable to even stand up from her bed. She'll cover herself in the duvet. Now that child has gotten to 7, 8 years. Every day, she's so depressed that she won't wake up in the morning. The child will make her own tea, his own tea. The child makes his own breakfast and go follow his friends to school. The mother thought, wow, my child is doing very well. Oh, he's doing very well. He can look after himself. He makes his breakfast. But in the mind of that child, he was seeing it from another angle. And the woman never explained to the child that I'm not feeling very well. So the child took it that my mother doesn't care. My mother is lazy. So, but the mother will buy all sorts of toys that I couldn't even buy for my own children. And it happened that somehow, she met somebody else who was overseas and she wanted to travel. So we made arrangements. We bought somebody who will be taking the child to school and bringing back, accompanying the child. But somebody who was living in the house, who knows what has been going on, went and told social services secretly that this is what is happening. The social workers came in. Now, what is going on? We learned that you are traveling. The child said, yes. In fact, my mom has not been looking after me, and I will even stay here. We went for meetings. That disclosure of the child was the end of it. There was nothing we did. Because the child said, I don't want to stay with my mom. She doesn't do anything for me. The mother said, but I thought you were doing it very well. You liked it. He said, no. My other friends, their mom makes breakfast for them. Not that you're at work. That child made that disclosure. So what are we saying? We must raise ourselves so that we are able to raise our children. Whatever is the problem, don't allow our problem to becloud our ability to look after these children, because these children are vulnerable. These children depend on us. If we don't, somehow, they may make disclosure. And when they make disclosures, they may be taken away. If they don't make disclosure, somebody may detect it. You don't know. When we came to this country newly, if you are living with senior citizens, you don't know that you may be doing something. They are the ones that will call the social workers and say, come and visit that family, something is happening. And you don't even know how they got involved. So being a parent is one, but we must take steps to do what is right in the lives of our children, give them the maximum attention that they need. There's time, let there be a work balance. I have so many other areas we are going to look at. Now, after you have done that, after you have found out, you have spoken to your child, and the child is still displaying some abnormal behaviors, your child is still traumatized, the next thing I will suggest is look within your network. Don't be a lone parent, even if you are a single parent. Don't be a lone parent. Get other parents, get community involved. Let there be somebody that your children know you are close to. So that if, let's say you belong to a church and there is a pastor, there's an uncle in that church, your child is used to that person. If you have tried and you are not able to find out, you can get that uncle involved and tell your child, I want you to speak to uncle. Maybe you don't want to talk to me. Tell uncle. Then that child may open up to the uncle and say, yes, this is what is going on in my life. If you have done that, you are not able to succeed. The next stage should be your teachers. I'm not talking of permanent disability. I'm talking of challenging behavior, because in almost all the schools, they have psychologists who can talk with the children, go through whatever they're going through. You let the teachers know. And the teachers will like it that you have made some effort. I have spoken to him. I have involved somebody who is a family, but we don't know, we're still worried. The teachers will do that. If there is nothing, the referral stage is here now. That's time to refer to professionals. And there is this NHL's body called Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, CAMS. It's for young people and also their parents. You notice a child who is playing through and from school, that child has lost interest in school. Notice a child who is behaving abnormally, who wants to sleep from morning to 12 when other children are in school. You can refer them to them. You can make self-referral, or the school can make it. So at the end of whatever we are saying about mental health is to encourage us African parents to look after our own mental health, our own emotional health, get our acts together, and promote good mental health in our children's life. Give them a good environment so that we raise happy children who will have no reason to complain. Children that nobody will have a reason to refer to. Children that the doctor cannot say this is wrong. So that our children will grow up under our roof. Because it's not a funny thing that you have your children and you are happy to raise your children, and suddenly your children is taken away from you. It's a big nightmare. And I pray that you will have taken something out of this. So having said that, we're going to end today one, but I don't know, do you want us to come back to do more tomorrow? Because the next tomorrow one is my family and I. And what we are looking at is building self-esteem for our children, understanding our children's behavior, effective communication, positive discipline, dealing with feelings, and setting limits. So we are actually looking at family value. How do you set family values? How do you communicate family values? So that is communicating family expectations. We are going to look at that tomorrow. We are looking at understanding and communicating it, and how to enforce it. Because when you have communicated your family values, you have to enforce it. So I will leave it for you on tomorrow, 4 p.m. after church service. We will have another session like this. So I look forward to seeing you. If you are not able to make it, please do let me know. And I hope the other people that missed it yesterday may come in tomorrow. Thank you for listening.
4 p.m. tomorrow, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you as well.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, you're welcome.
Are you going to give us the, the audio of this? You recorded it, isn't it?
I will try. Yeah, I will try. Yeah,
Please,
it's recorded.
please, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we can't remember everything we have
Everything.
discussed today. It's very, very vital, very, very
Yeah.
important that
Yeah.
we have.
Thank you.
That's why we recorded it.
Thank you very much. God
Thank
bless.
you. Cheers.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Have a
Can
lovely
I-
evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I talk to you as well?
Okay. Yeah.
When
So
they
we
have
can
the
talk
list.
on the phone. Yeah. You can call me on the phone.
Okay, yes, no
Yeah.
problem. Okay, bye then.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye, Folu. And bye, my sister Gloria.